Ja'Marr Chase is a magician on the field, no doubt effortlessly juking defenders, breaking tackles, and leaving even the best cornerbacks in the league looking foolish. But apparently, his elusiveness doesn't stop at the goal line. It follows him off the field too, especially when it comes to dodging fans trying to get a little too close for comfort. What happened outside of New York City hotspot this weekend proved just that. In a moment that's now making waves across social media and drawing attention from all corners of the NFL fandom, Ja'Marr Chase showed that he's just as slick off the turf as he is on it. TMZ Sports got their hands on a rather uncomfortable video that captured the Cincinnati Bengals star navigating not a defensive scheme, but rather an awkward and very public interaction with a woman on the street. It all went down on Sunday morning outside Zero Bond, a trendy and exclusive social club that's no stranger to celebrities, athletes, influencers, and the occasional drama. Chase had just wrapped up a whirlwind weekend at Fanatics Fest, where stars from across the sports and entertainment world gathered to engage with fans and media in a promotional frenzy. After rubbing shoulders with other high-profile figures and soaking in the Big Apple spotlight, the wide receiver stepped out into the city streets only to find himself in a situation he clearly hadn't game-planned for. As Chase made his way from the club's entrance, dressed in casual gear, calm, and likely tired from the night before, an unidentified woman dressed in a tight-fitting, all-black outfit suddenly approached him. Her body language was unmistakable, arms outstretched, full intent on wrapping him into a hug. Whether it was a gesture born of enthusiasm, familiarity, or something more forward, her move was met with something colder than a December wind in the Queen City, a full-on swerve from Ja'Marr. In the clip, his reaction is quick but unmistakably intentional. He sidestepped her attempt at physical contact with such ease, it was almost like he was running a route against air. The woman, clearly shocked, stood still for a moment, processing the snub. Her face revealed everything, a mix of frustration, embarrassment, and perhaps a bruised ego. She hadn't expected to be rejected, especially not in such a public way, and certainly not with cameras rolling. But Ja'Marr, he was unfazed. Without missing a beat, he continued scanning the street, casually looking for a vehicle to climb into, a quiet escape plan from a scene that was growing increasingly tense. He never looked back, never offered an explanation, and never even paused long enough to acknowledge the tension that now hung heavy in the New York morning air. Was it a misunderstanding? An overzealous fan misreading the moment? Or was there more history between them than the video lets on? That's the million-dollar question right now, and one that's spawning a dozen theories across social platforms. Some are speculating that the woman and Chase might have known each other, that perhaps there had been prior communication, a message thread, or even a previous meeting that made her feel confident enough to approach him in that way. Others believe she was just a fan, bold, unfiltered, and maybe a little too caught up in the excitement of seeing a star up close. Whatever the case may be, it's safe to say that if they did know each other before that moment, the next conversation they have, if there is one, probably won't be filled with warm greetings and friendly laughter. It'll likely be uncomfortable, full of explanations, and maybe even a few apologies or demands for them. What makes the whole scene more awkward is just how public it was. Ja'Marr Chase is no stranger to the spotlight, but there's a unique kind of vulnerability that comes when your personal space is tested in front of flashing cameras and bystanders. He didn't lose his cool. He didn't confront the woman or lash out. But he also didn't try to sugarcoat the moment. His message was silent, but loud. Not today. From an image perspective, the incident is being dissected from all angles. Fans are chiming in, body language experts are making their rounds, and everyone seems to have an opinion on who was right or wrong. Some are praising Chase for setting a boundary and maintaining his personal space, especially in a world where public figures are often treated like they're public property. Others argue he could have handled it with a little more grace, perhaps a verbal no thank you or at least a less visibly cold reaction. But then again, being a top-tier NFL athlete doesn't mean you owe anyone access to your body, your energy, or your time. Not even for a hug, and certainly not from someone who might be crossing a line you didn't draw together. Interestingly enough, this whole scenario happened on a weekend where Ja'Marr Chase wasn't the only hype athlete dealing with an awkward moment on the streets of NYC. Even LeBron James, a man accustomed to praise and adoration at nearly every corner of the world, faced his own version of a public L during Fanatics Fest, as King James made his way through the city to attend an event. A group of salty fans, likely Knicks supporters, hurled insults at him, mocking and booing him despite his iconic status. He didn't engage either, no shouting match, no gestures, just a silent stride forward with his crew, letting his silence speak volumes. The message that both athletes seemed to send this weekend was clear: being a star doesn't mean being available, and perhaps it's time more fans realized that. Ja'Marr Chase, just 25 years old, has quickly become one of the brightest stars in the NFL since his explosive debut season with the Bengals, where he lit up defenses and broke records. He's been in the spotlight nearly non. His partnership with quarterback Joe Burrow, dating back to their days at LSU, has turned Cincinnati's offense into one of the most dangerous in the league. Off the field, his fashion, charisma, and growing brand have only fueled his rise, but with fame comes exposure. And exposure brings moments like this, where a casual night out turns into a headline, and a decision to sidestep a hug becomes a viral debate. Still, it's important to see these moments not just as drama or gossip fodder, but as reflections of the boundaries celebrities have the right to set. There's a tendency in modern fandom to feel ownership over stars, to believe that just because someone performs in front of millions, they should be constantly gracious, constantly open, and constantly accessible. But real life isn't a highlight reel. Real life comes with mood swings, bad nights, fatigue, and yes, the occasional dodge when someone gets too close. And maybe, just maybe, Ja'Marr's reaction wasn't about that woman at all. Maybe he had a tough night. Maybe he was tired. Maybe he was stressed about an upcoming training camp. Or maybe he simply didn't feel like hugging someone, friend or stranger, in the middle of a street under flashing lights. The truth is, we don't know. We only see what the camera captured. But in that brief clip, we saw a man choosing his peace, choosing his space, choosing not to perform for a world that always expects a show. It may not be the warm and fuzzy content fans love to share, but it's a real moment, and that makes it worth paying attention to. Because in a world that often dehumanizes athletes, every reminder that they're just people, with moods, preferences, and limits, is a valuable one. As the buzz around the video continues to build, Ja'Marr Chase remains silent. No statement, no tweet, no Instagram story to explain himself. And maybe that's for the best. Some moments speak for themselves. And this one, awkward as it may be, was loud and clear. As Monday rolled around and the video continued to make its rounds, fans, critics, and casual viewers alike began to pour into the comment sections with heated debates. Some were defensive of Ja'Marr, passionately arguing that nobody, no matter how famous, owes anyone a hug, a selfie, or any type of engagement just because they're in the public eye. Others claimed the moment seemed unnecessarily cold, or even humiliating for the woman involved. And that, perhaps, is the most fascinating aspect of this brief but viral interaction, the fact that so many people can project so many different interpretations onto it. That's the double-edged sword of celebrity. Every action is magnified, every glance analyzed, every silence interpreted. But what this moment also reveals is something deeper, a cultural shift in how we view personal boundaries, especially for public figures. There was a time when celebrities were expected to grin and bear it no matter what, to be on at all times, and to accept unwanted touches, comments, or invasions of privacy as just part of the deal. But today, more and more stars are pushing back. They're reclaiming their space, demanding respect, and showing us that being famous doesn't mean forfeiting the right to say no. For Ja'Marr Chase, this moment is unlikely to define him. His legacy will be written in touchdowns, in fourth-quarter catches, in playoff runs, and maybe even in future Super Bowl glory. He's still early in his career, yet already carving out a name among the all-time greats. What happened outside Zero Bond will be a blip on the radar, a footnote in a season of highlight reels and record-breaking stats. But that doesn't mean it wasn't significant, because it was. Well guys, what are your thoughts? Do tell us. Thanks for watching.